The distress beacon pulsed weakly through the void, its crimson light bleeding into the darkness of space like a dying star's final breath. Lieutenant William Chen watched it flicker on his salvage vessel's display, calculating trajectories and fuel reserves with the cold precision that had kept him alive in the outer reaches for 7 years. "Another derelict," he muttered, fingers dancing across holographic controls. "Probably stripped clean by now." But the ship's AI disagreed. "Biosignatures detected, Lieutenant. One life form, faint but stable." William's jaw tightened. Survivors meant complications, questions, authorities, things a freelance salvager operating in contested space couldn't afford. Yet the salvager's code was absolute. You didn't leave people to die in the black. Not ever. He maneuvered his vessel, the Wandering Star, toward the wreckage. As he approached, his breath caught. The derelict wasn't human-made. Its architecture was too elegant, too organic, flowing curves of bioluminescent metal that even damaged seemed to pulse with alien vitality. Gentari design, and not just any Gentari vessel. "God help me," William whispered, recognizing the Imperial crests. "That's a royal transport." The hull breach was catastrophic. William suited up, mag boots carrying him through twisted corridors where gravity generators had failed. Emergency lights cast everything in shades of violet and gold, Gentari spectrum lighting. Bodies floated in the zero-G, members of the Imperial Guard, their forearms frozen in death's embrace, their chitinous armor cracked and venting atmosphere. He found her in what remained of the stateroom. Maya floated unconscious near an emergency life support pod, its backup systems keeping her alive but clearly failing. She was young, perhaps 20 in human years, her skin bearing the distinctive iridescent scales of Gentari royalty. They shifted colors even in her unconscious state, deep purples melting into silver, then gold. Her breathing was shallow, and the neural crest along her skull had dimmed to almost nothing. "Hey," William said softly, checking her vitals with his scanner. "Can you hear me?" No response. Oxygen deprivation, his scanner indicated. Hypothermia setting in. He had perhaps 30 minutes before irreversible brain damage. William didn't hesitate. He gathered her carefully. She was lighter than expected, her bone structure hollow like Earth's birds, and carried her back to the Wandering Star. Only when she was secured in his medical bay, warming blankets wrapped around her and oxygen flowing, did he allow himself to consider the magnitude of what he'd just done. He'd rescued Princess Maya, only daughter of Empress Zalthira, supreme ruler of the Gentari Collective. The same Empress who'd been at war with humanity's coalition for the past decade. The same Empress who'd ordered the destruction of the colony where William's parents had died. "What am I doing?" he asked the empty ship. Maya woke slowly, consciousness returning in fragments. Warmth, unfamiliar sounds, the acrid smell of human habitation, all hydrocarbons and recycled air instead of the sweet ozone scent of Gentari ships. Her neural crest flared instinctively, reaching for threats but found none nearby. She opened her eyes to see a human watching her from across the small medical bay. He was unremarkable by human standards, dark hair, tired eyes, the lean build of someone who'd spent too long in variable gravity. But he'd saved her life. She could sense it in the residual warmth of the blankets, the careful way her injuries had been treated. "You're awake," William said in heavily accented Gentari. "How do you feel?" Maya sat up slowly, her body protesting. 3 of her 4 arms moved properly, the lower left was splinted. "I am alive because of you. The others weren't so lucky. I'm sorry." The memories crashed back. The ambush. Coalition warships appearing from nowhere, weapons hot. Captain Voreth ordering her to the pod while he and the guard held them off. The terrible silence as her protectors died one by one. Then the cold and the darkness, and the certain knowledge that she would die alone in the void. "You are coalition," she said, not a question. She could see it in his equipment, his ship's design. "Freelancer, I don't fight in your war." Yet you rescued me. Why? William shrugged, a gesture that translated poorly across species. Couldn't leave you to die. It's not complicated. But it was. Maya understood human psychology. The collective had studied them extensively during the war. This man had every reason to let her die or, worse, sell her to coalition intelligence. The bounty on her head alone could buy him a fleet of ships. Instead, he sat here offering her water and asking about her injuries. The ship that attacked us, Maya said carefully. Did you see them? Gone when I arrived, probably thought everyone was dead. William paused. They weren't wrong to think so. Your life support pod was running on fumes. Then I owe you a debt, by Gentari law. I don't want anything, William interrupted. When you're strong enough, I'll take you to the nearest collective outpost. Call it even. Maya's neural crest flickered with confusion. In her world, debts were absolute. Lives were currency. This human's casual dismissal of what she owed him bordered on offensive. You don't understand, she began. I understand plenty. William stood, moving toward the door. Get some rest. We've got a 3-day burn to Sector 7. There's a collective listening post there. But the universe had other plans. 12 hours into their journey, the Wandering Star's main drive failed catastrophically. William spent 6 hours in the engine compartment, Maya floating nearby despite his protests, before accepting the truth. They were dead in space. Emergency thrusters could keep them stable, but not moving, not without parts he didn't have. How long? Maya asked. Life support, 2 weeks, maybe 3 if we're careful with power. William wiped grease from his hands, exhaustion evident in every movement. Distress beacons active, but we're in the middle of nowhere. Could be months before anyone finds us. Coalition or collective, Maya said quietly, when they come. Yeah. The implications hung between them. If the coalition found them, Maya would be captured or killed. If the collective found them, William would likely face the same fate, regardless of his role in rescuing her. There is a third option, Maya said. I'm listening. We repair the ship ourselves. My people's technology is different from yours, but I trained as an engineer before. She gestured at herself. Before I became ornamental. William raised an eyebrow. You're an engineer. My mother believes royalty should understand all aspects of governance, including the ships that carry us. Maya's neural crest pulsed with what William was learning to recognize as determination. Your drive uses quantum entanglement for FTL, yes. The manifold is probably fractured. Can you fix it? If we cannibalize parts from my mother's ship, perhaps. It will take time and cooperation. William extended his hand, human custom. After a moment, Maya clasped it with her upper right hand, her scales cool against his skin. Partners, William said. Partners, Maya agreed. The days that followed forged an unlikely alliance. They worked in shifts, maintaining life support while scavenging parts from the royal transport. In the close quarters of the Wandering Star, formality became impossible. William learned that Maya loved human music, particularly ancient blues recordings. Maya discovered that William had taught himself Gentari to better understand the enemy, but now spoke it to understand a friend. They talked during meals, during long hours of repair work, during the quiet of ship's night when both should have been sleeping. Maya spoke of her mother's court, of the weight of expectations and the loneliness of power. William told her about his parents, about the colony, about how he'd turned his back on vengeance to salvage old ships instead. You don't hate us? Maya asked one night, floating in the observation blister as stars wheeled slowly around them. I hate the war. I hate what it's done to people on both sides. William joined her, their shoulders nearly touching in the confined space. But you're not the war, you're just Maya. Her neural crest glowed softly, colors shifting. And you're just William, not the enemy, not even really the rescuer anymore, just you. The drive repair took 11 days. On the 12th night, with the quantum manifold resonating properly and FTL capability restored, neither of them celebrated, because the ship being operational meant their time together was ending. They stood in the cargo bay, the silence heavy between them. "I should take you to Sector 7, William finally said, "like I promised." "You should," Maya agreed, but she didn't move. "Lord, Lord." William took a breath. "There's a neutral station on the edge of the fringe, Station Concordia. People go there to escape the war, both species. I've been thinking about heading there, maybe starting fresh. They need engineers, salvagers." Maya's neural crest bloomed with colors William had never seen before. Hope mixed with fear, mixed with something he didn't have a name for. "My mother would never stop looking for me," she said quietly. "I know. The coalition would use me as a propaganda tool if they found me. I know that too. We would be hunted, always." "Probably." Maya turned to face him fully, all four hands reaching out to take his two. "And you would give up your life, your freedom, your safety for this. For me." William met her eyes, so alien, so familiar. "I already lost everything once. Maybe it's time to build something new, if you want to." The decision hung between them, heavy with consequence. Then Maya smiled, and her scales shimmered with the gold of Gentari joy. "Concordia," she said, "let's go build something new." The wandering star departed into the black, two fugitives charting a course toward an uncertain future. Behind them, the wreckage of the royal transport tumbled through space, its distress beacon finally silent. Ahead, somewhere in the vast darkness, lay a station where species didn't matter, where wars were left at the door, where a human and a Gentari might dare to hope. And in the small quarters of a salvaged ship, an alien princess and a human lieutenant shared watch, talking through the night as they always did now, neither quite ready to sleep alone anymore. The war would continue, empires would rise and fall, but in one small corner of space, two people had chosen differently. They had chosen each other.